everyone, I am back with story number 8 today, and this one is going to be of me, my daughter, and my mom doing Christmas cookies. And every year we do Christmas cookies, and we made, I don't know, about 5, 6, 7 batches. I can't quite remember. We made all different kinds of cookies. We made salted caramel chocolate chip, regular chocolate chip. We made these strawberry cookies. We made lemon cookies. We made butterscotch ones. We also made ones that have like the pretzel with the Rolo and the pecan, kind of tastes like a turtle. We made these everything but the kitchen sink cookies. We made a whole bunch of stuff. My favorites were the salted caramel chocolate chips, and my least favorite were the strawberry crunch cookies. They just were not great. I thought they'd be great because they sounded super great. I usually get all my recipes off of Pinterest, but that one was not good. Did not like it. So yeah. Love the salted caramel chocolate chip ones though. So now what I'm doing, and for this page, is just documenting that day of cookie making. And I was kind of looking through my different photos. I knew I needed to have a 2-page spread. I wasn't super excited that I was going to have to make the spread on, you know, the right-hand side, and then I had to flip the page and make it on the left-hand side, and it's not like a full page spread, but it's totally fine. I really wanted to use this paper because it has the cookies on it, so I thought it would be perfect, and so I just went with it, and it's okay that it's on 2 different, completely different pages. And what I decided to do, I really like that gingham red paper. It just reminded me of a tablecloth. So I end up using that as the background, and I wanted to add some green to the page as well, but I wanted to add some scallops. I don't have a scallop punch that's this wide, so I'm just using that little thing there on the left, that blue thing, as a template to make the scallops, and I just traced around with a pencil and then trim it out with my scissors. And I'm going to have one for the top of this strip and then the bottom of the strip. I don't show you that whole process because it does take me a little bit to cut everything, and that's boring to watch me cut. So I did pull some of that out, but ultimately I will have a little scallop at the top and the bottom. I really think that's sweet, and I like that you can see the cookies there in the bottom of the page still. So it worked out very nicely. So here I'm just messing around, making sure it's going to work, and I'm trying it on both sides, and I do like it, so I'm going to use that particular strip as a template to create the other one. And then I'm going to glue everything down with my liquid adhesive. I absolutely love this paper, the background of this paper, which is the Santas. You're going to see that I'm going to use those Santas here on the back side of this page. He was super cute. I did not want to waste him, and so I made sure that I did use some of him on the next page. He's just adorable. I just love the little 50s kind of vintage vibe of Santa. He just looks so jolly. So I wanted to definitely make sure I use that. So just gluing that down, making sure it's semi-straight-ish. And then I will trim off the edge here with my scissors. And then I'm going to glue this whole chunk down to the page, just using my dry adhesive, my Scotch 3M adhesive. Really like how that looks. I think that's super cute. And then I have my photos here, and I will kind of mess with those 2 little square photos a bit. One's a little bit bigger than the other, which is totally fine, but I do finagle with them a bit, trying to figure out like what kind of layout I want. And because this book is getting pretty chunky, they kind of keep moving on me, which was really frustrating, but I didn't want to glue them down yet because I wasn't quite sure I wanted a particular layout. So you'll see me kind of struggling with that a little bit. I think I maybe got some of it out, and I didn't necessarily record all of it, but yeah. So now I'm just going to glue this down, making sure it's lined up nicely and pushed down very well. Bring my photo back over here. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. It just seemed like it was missing something. It looked a little bit too plain. So what I end up doing is trimming down the edge of this paper. I just thought the border was just a little bit too wide, and I like the thinner look of the white borders here. So I do trim that down on both of the square photos. And then I'm going to mount the photo of my daughter making cookies with a cardstock, excuse me. Because again, it just looked like it was missing something. It felt like it needed something in the background of that photo. And I'm going to pull out a couple different colors, trying to figure out what's going to work the best. I'm just kind of looking to see, like, do I like that one? I don't know. It looks too much like it blends in with that background piece. So I'm going to pull this red, and I do like that a lot better. So I do mount it on that particular paper here. It also looks nice because I use that same red paper on the left-hand side of the page. And now I'm just going to glue that 4x6 picture down to the right. Just making sure to line it up. And then I will glue these little squares here in a few minutes once I decide that I like the placement. So like I said, I just play with these probably way more than I needed to. So now before I glue that down, I do want to add the title because I want to make sure everything fits nicely. So these are alphabet stickers I believe I got from the Target dollar spot several years ago. And I'm just going to spell out the word cookie. And then I'm going to use some really old October afternoon little typewriter key stickers to write the word time. So you'll see this is going to speed up here in a second because you don't need to watch me making a title because that's really, really boring. Plus I was struggling with these letters a little bit. They were really thin and I was just having some problems. So you're just going to see the end result for the most part. I do add some liquid glue to most of my stickers or my letter stickers because I don't trust the adhesive on them. And I really like how that looks. It's a bit shiny, so it's a little hard to see on the camera, but I think it turned out really cute, and I love the colors, and I think it looks nice with the word building on the left-hand side of the page because it is also that kind of shiny gold look. So now, again, playing with those little silly square photos, and then I'm going to write the word time like I had mentioned with these little sticky key October afternoon stickers. And I do use liquid glue on these as well. So I thought that looked cute. And it fit nicely there. And then once I glue down the photos, I am going to add a few more elements there to kind of fill in some of that blank space under the word cookie time. So you'll see that here in a little bit once I glue all these little guys down. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. I hope you guys are doing well. If you're enjoying the series, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, I'd love to have you as a subscriber. I am trying to get more videos up, but I think I say that every time. I'm pretty good with December daily, sorta, kinda. I do get quite a few videos up during this time, and then I fall off, and I typically only do some journal shares that I'm selling my journals on Etsy. So I've just been really cruddy with posting videos lately, and so I apologize for that, but life, you know, just sometimes gets in the way. It gets a bit overwhelming. It's a little stressful, and during this time of the year, I do have about a week and a half off of work, so it makes life feel a little less crazy, and so I do get a lot more stuff done during this time. So that's why you see more videos during this time of the year for me. But yeah, I do every year think, okay, maybe I'm kind of getting back in the groove. I will post more videos and then I go back to work and then it falls apart again. So, you know, as much as I want to, it's just a struggle sometimes. I don't know if you guys ever feel like that. Just the motivation is sometimes difficult. Doing the things that you really love to do is not always easy. The things you have to do, you do, and then you're kind of tired from that. So the things that you don't have to do that are just fun seem to kind of go by the wayside, unfortunately. But anyway, not to make this video really, you know, down in the dumps or anything like that. I'm actually having a really good time doing these journaling pages. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the process. And like I said, I would love for you guys to give me a thumbs up. And if you're enjoying the videos, please leave a comment below. I love chatting with you guys and I love hearing from you guys. And yeah, so hopefully, yeah, that would be wonderful. And I'm really liking how this album is turning out. I am pulling these gold letter strips or word strips out here, and I thought the gold would look nice, and now I have 3 pieces of gold on this 2-page spread with my 2 titles, and then I have these letter or word stickers here, and I think that kind of makes a nice layout. So once I finish putting this one down, the strip down, I will work on the 2nd page of this story. And it's just going to be on the back side of this page. So I think that turned out really cute. And I do all my journaling also on the 2nd page. So I'm going to clip this side down. It is super, super chunky on this side. It's getting very difficult. And here I'm going to move my photos around like 5,000 bazillion times because I can't decide what I want to do. And ultimately, I end up putting the photo of my mom at the top right and the photo of the cookies in the bottom left. But yeah, I play musical chairs with them for way, way, way too long. Probably could have cut some of this out. But sometimes I'd like to leave some of the stuff in so you can just kind of see my process. It's not that, you know, even though I do kind of cut a lot of things out that are like busy work, if you will, I do like to share some of it too, because that's real life. My scrapbooking doesn't take only 21 minutes. I'm obviously speeding this video up a little bit because it is too long if I keep it real time. And obviously I'm taking out chunks of stuff like cutting and inking and things like that that are kind of boring. So, you know, these 2 pages took me well over an hour to do before I did the editing. So that is more real life. So don't feel like watching these videos, you're like, oh my God, how did you get this done in 21 minutes? Well, I totally didn't. I had not done this in 21 minutes. I don't even think I did this in the same sitting. I think I might have gotten up and did some other things and came back to it. So that is totally fine. Don't let the videos fool you. You definitely can take your time and you don't need to rush this process. And I just take my time and do what I want to do. And then I edit out the pieces that you guys might think are boring. And yeah, it all works out. And what I want to do here is I am using my little chomper here to chomp the corners. I just wanted a softer edge, so I'm using the 1/4 inch side. This one I did not want to chomp, but I do snip off the corners. I watch someone called Roxy Creations. I absolutely love her YouTube channel. If you have never heard of Roxy Creations, definitely check her out if you like vintage kind of junk journaling. She is just absolutely phenomenal. And she started snipping the corners of a lot of her pages, and I don't know what it is, but it makes the edges look so much better, like just so much more finished, like the sharp corners. I don't know what it is, but when you snip those off, I just really, really like the look of it. It's like the tiniest detail, but it really makes a difference. So if you have never tried that before and you think I'm crazy, sometime try it and see what you think. I don't know what it is, but I just really like how it kind of like softens it and it seems to finish it off. It's kind of the same thing I feel when I'm doing like inking around the edges. It gives that kind of depth and that finished edge. I just feel like it really helps everything kind of come together. So now I'm just starting to glue down these pieces. I'm going to put this one in the top left, and I am going to start gluing my photos down. I am going to put the cookie photo overlapping the picture of my mom just a little bit, so I will end up gluing the picture of my mom down first. But first I'm going to mess with this other part here of the layout because I want to cover up the words, and I'm going to just sort of kind of measure this with, you know, kind of putting it down and using a pencil. I will trim this paper out with my trimmer, and I will also round the edges of it so that it mimics that top left piece of paper. And it's also just the 1/4 round edge, or the 1/4 round corner punch. Inking that up a bit. And then I will use that. That will be the base. The photos will go down next, I believe. And then I end up making a flip so that I have a place to put my journaling. And I believe you saw it earlier. I was kind of just chatting away. I am using that Santa paper that I was telling you I absolutely adored right there as part of my flip. I think he is super cute. So I'm going to glue everything down. And then that card that I had there is a little bit too wide, so I do end up trimming it down just a bit because I don't want it overlapping the cookie photo. I want it kind of fitting in that space so that it doesn't overlap the photo. It just kind of sits on that red card and has a bit of a border. So I'm just going to trim that down, and I will re-punch the corners, and then it's going to fit a little bit nicer. And then that journaling card that's on the top that I was messing with is also going to sit nicely on top of that and have still have a nice border. And that's where I'm going to actually put my journaling. I'm going to actually type the journaling on my typewriter. So I'm going to send that journaling card through my typewriter and type on it. I didn't have a lot to say about this day, just really kind of talking about cookies. There wasn't a big story. So I just had a little bit of journaling, so it worked perfect to use that card. So I'm just inking around the edge here too. I am going to use some clear Scotch tape to tape everything down here in a little bit. First, I'm going to do the journaling. And I think, did I do, I don't know, no, I didn't do stitching. I don't think I did any stitching on this card. No, I just did some journaling, typed it up, gluing that down. And again, I used the Scotch tape. I used that on a previous story because I didn't want the washi tape to take away from the design. And here I just don't have a lot of room. So the Scotch tape is another perfect solution. I just cut it off, and then I do try to trim the edges. I don't think I mentioned that the last video, but I do try to trim those edges where you cut the tape off. That serrated edge kind of, you can see a bit more. So by trimming it and making it smooth, it just lays a little flatter and you don't notice the tape as much. So I do end up trimming those off. I forgot to do that before I stuck the tape down. I recommend doing it before you stick the tape down. It makes it a lot easier, but it still worked here. And then I did trim the width of the tape a bit because it was just a little too tall, and I didn't want it sticking on the actual photo of my mom. Sitting on the border would have been fine, but I didn't want it on the photo. And I'm just using this bone folder to burnish it down so you really can't even see the tape that's under there. So I really, really, really like using this technique. So I'll do that, and then I'll put another piece of tape on this side. Again, I will trim the serrated edges this time before I stick it down, and I'm not as worried about the width of the tape this time, so I'm just going to use that full width, and again burnish it down really well with my bone folder. And you can see there as I'm doing it that it kind of really melds into the paper and you just totally don't notice it. And I mean, you do see it a little bit, but it's not enough that I'm really worried about it. It makes it a little bit darker, but you know, it still works and I'm perfectly fine with that look. Now I want to add something on the front of this card. I do love the Santa, but I thought it needed a little something, so I'm going to put another Santa on top. I'm going to use this pack of die cuts that I have here that look kind of like clusters. You're going to see me messing with that here in a second. Trying to find which one. I am going to use that Santa, but I am going to look through all of them to see if there's anything else I like, but Santa works perfect. And I do end up adding some red thread stitching through my sewing machine on the Santa, kind of where that black faux stitching is. Again, to add some texture and dimension. So you can see there, I added some of that stitching. Going to just glue that straight down to the page after I ink it up a bit. And I will add my number. Oh, actually I forgot. I did my story number off camera. I do end up putting it in the top left. So I'm going to make a cluster with the Santa and some other elements in the top left. I do come back later on and add the number 8 up there, but I just don't show it because I forgot to do it before I took the pictures. So you'll see that a little bit later on. So I'm going to add that Santa with the candy cane. Again, I'm just kind of going with full on Santa theme here. And I just thought it looked a little bit too plain by itself. So I'm going to pull this little red label here. And I thought I needed something else. So I'm going to pull this kind of drawer looking label that says this is December. And I'm just going to kind of layer them all up together. And I like how it kind of gives Santa a shelf to rest on. He doesn't look like he's floating up there in that top left corner. So I'm just going to get some glue and glue that all down. It is a bit hard to glue when you have a Santa stuck to your finger. I don't know why I didn't set him down, but I didn't. So I'm just working with him there, stuck to my finger. And yeah, I like how that looks. It's super cute. I was thinking about, do I need to tuck him in or not, but I end up just sticking him on top, making him look like he's standing. And I do cover some of that clutter that's in the top left picture, or top picture of my mom. That's kind of like in the background, a little bit, not too much. And I have this red space here because I didn't have a lot of journaling. I needed to put something, so I just am going to cut out this ho ho ho. I'm going to mount it on some green cardstock and really call it a day. That is pretty much all I'm going to end up doing there. I didn't feel like it needed a whole lot. I just wanted kind of like a little bit of a peekaboo element. I'm looking through some other things to see if there's anything else I want to use besides that ho ho ho, but with it being Santa, ho 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 seemed appropriate since it is a very Santa heavy theme here. And I'm just going to use that. I am going to snip the corners of this card as well, and I am going to just mount it on this green, and I'm going to snip the green paper too in the corners. So I don't know if you notice, I had it sitting down with it not snipped, and then I snipped it. I don't know if you can tell, but like I was mentioning earlier, I just really think it gives a better finished look to it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys think I'm crazy? Do you guys think that looks better? You know, let me know. I'm really curious if I'm just like a weirdo. So now I'm just going to mount this down with a very thin border. I didn't want very much. And then I'm going to roughly trim it with my scissors, and then I'm going to trim it a little bit straighter and nicer with my small trimmer. And then that's it. I'm just going to snip those corners. And I think that's all, I believe. So as I'm finishing this up, I just again wanted to thank you guys so much. This, like I said, is story 8. Hopefully I'll have maybe another story or 2 shared on my YouTube channel here in a little while. So I really appreciate everyone that's sticking with me and watching these videos. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful time. And yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I'm going to add one more element. I forgot. I do want to add a little bit more elements to that Santa. I felt like it needed something on the hello card that I add the stitching on. And I also wanted to add a word strip. So I do pull out a word strip here and add it to my that little label. Or actually, I don't add to the Santa. I just add to the label. So this is the last thing I do. I just add the strip here. So yeah, that's really it. There's some photos at the end, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.